Hi, and welcome back to the It Girl podcast. I am here with
Siff.
Siff. You are the founder of Arrae.
I am.
I am a huge fan. Huge fan.
That makes me so happy.
I take the sleep every night. I have the sleep, it's not, is it anxiety or it's
Calm.
Calm.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'm like, it's mine's the anxiety pill. I take the Calm all the time. I take the Bloat all the time. And I take the sleep every night. Like, I will not go to sleep without it.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I'm so excited to have you because I'm your number one fan. So I just want to start by talking about your background and where did you begin? And then we'll get into where did Arrae begin?
So I would say where I began was probably I've always been a creative at heart, like literally from like as far back as I can remember. I've always kind of done creative things. And prior to Arrae, I was a creator and a podcaster, and that's kind of what I was doing full time. And I was just really into wellness because I mean, the journey of Arrae is like very closely linked to my own journey of like health and wellness. Mm-hmm. But essentially I got into wellness because honestly, out of desperation, I was always this girl who was on this hamster wheel of, getting sick, taking antibiotics, getting better, doing it all over again. And at one point I ended up fracturing a rib from a chronic cough.
Oh, wow.
It was insane. I was like 22 or 23. And when I went to my doctor, I was prescribed codeine and sent home. And that was kind of my gateway into wellness, where I was like, okay, how I've been doing things so far hasn't been working. Like, let me look into this side of things. And, part of my content was like a lot of like sharing my wellness tips and stuff. And I was also the witch doctor for all my friends. And that was kind of what led to Arrae ultimately.
So you knew you wanted to do something in the wellness space. How did it become Arrae?
So it wasn't that I knew that I wanted to do something in the wellness space. Like, my entire thing for my whole career trajectory is I've kind of always made it my mission to help people through whatever I know. So when it was, working as a creator, it was just, okay, how can I share the information that allows me to feel my best? And then from there, I started my podcast because it was the same philosophy, right? Like, I felt like I knew things and I had access to things that I wish other people had access to because I'd built my blog and, social media and stuff by that time. And I was like, oh, I read a lot and I speak to a lot of people at like different events. I wish I could just bring them as a source for other people to learn from as well. And so that was my podcast. And so with Arrae, it was the same philosophy whereby I was this witch doctor for my friends, and I had done such intensive research as a guinea pig. And I was just frustrated. Me and my husband, we looked at wellness and supplements in general, and we were like, this is the most difficult space to navigate. And people are just running to the pharmacy and taking chemically laden things for problems that they don't necessarily need to be doing that for right away. And I knew based on my own experience that we could come up with much better for you solutions, natural solutions for our most, I guess, like pressing problems that take so much away from how we operate on a day-to-day basis. Like, if you're bloated or if you're anxious or if you have any of these issues, think about the amount of mental real estate it takes up. You are not operating at your best because you're worried about the fact that you're like not feeling your best. And so that was what we wanted to solve for. So I wouldn't say that I knew that I wanted to be in wellness or that I even wanted to start a business. I think what I've always known in my heart is that whatever my career takes me to, I just want to make sure I'm helping the most amount of people.
And what is step one when you want to start a supplement business? Because that's so complicated. And I know there's a big difference between starting a business and starting a business where people are ingesting things. There's
100%.
Different laws, different rules,
totally.
Different FTC guidelines. It's for marketing. That's a really big responsibility when you're taking on someone's health. So what does that look like? How do you educate yourself on supplements? How do you educate yourself on what's good for people, what's bad for people? Because this is not sponsored. They're my favorite. They really work. So that's why I really want to get into how did you even educate yourself? Like, you made supplements that truly work when there are so many supplements on the market that don't. I've taken plenty of vitamins that I'm like, okay, that was a waste of $36 that I just spent on this, and now I've taken it for a month and it's either made the problem worse or done absolutely nothing. And then you go to your doctor and your doctor says, yeah, why did you take this? This is wrong in every way. So where does that journey start for you of educating yourself on supplements and nutrition and all of that?
So, I mean, first, like if you're just wanting to get a baseline understanding of anything, I would say like books, research papers, that's probably the best place to start. And I think you just kind of have to become really curious. And so I would say that's step one, no matter what area you want to be an expert in. For us, after that, no matter how much I love this area, I knew that I was definitely not going to be the one to formulate this. And so we then went ahead and found our formulator. So I would say like that is probably the most important thing. If you yourself don't come from a formulation science research background, then you need to find someone who can fill that gap in for you. And then from there, you know, it's about making Google your best friend. And once you find your formulator, like who you're working with, then it's about finding the right manufacturer who can give you the quality that you're looking for and who can hit your minimum order quantities. Because when you're just starting out, you can't take on a risk of like $1 million, you know, it's like whatever, so you have to do it in the most scrappy way. So for us, that was finding a manufacturer that was up to our standards, but that could produce a really small quantity and kind of believe in us enough to know that, okay, like over time we're going to grow. And that's exactly what happened. So I would say, yeah, number one is find first you need to learn whatever area you want to get into business in. And then number two is find the right person to partner with or like to hire in order to formulate those things correctly.
Why is your product so much more effective than other supplements that are on the market?
So for us, we knew very early on that we wanted to create products that you would take and you'd feel the impact of right away. Mm-hmm. So, you know, when you think of products like bloat, sleep, heartburn, constipation, like all of these products, you take it and you feel the impact right away. So you know that it's a product that's working. And the idea when we launched the brand was this take upon need philosophy, whereby, again, I keep saying this, but people would go to the drugstore and buy things and they didn't really need to do that. So that was what we were trying to solve for. And in terms of, I guess, what makes the product superior, of course, we are using the highest amount of actives, like the saturation of ingredients that we're using, it's the right dosage of each ingredient. Also, if you like look at our instruction labels, the serving size isn't just one capsule because you may not be able to fit everything you need in there. Yeah. So we're really like upfront about the serving size. And then at the end of the day, for us, we invest so much time and money into our R&D process. I would say when it comes to the business as a whole, our R&D and ensuring that we have the best possible product on the market, that is where the most rigor goes, because I really do believe that you can have the best marketing on the planet and you may get the customer, but they're never going to come back if the product is garbage, right? And so you have to, like, the foundation of a strong business is a good product. And so that was really always our philosophy to begin with. And when we launched the business, I mean, we were bootstrapped. Like my husband and I, we put our wedding money into this. And so, you know, we didn't have millions of dollars to spare. And so most of our money had gone into producing the best possible product. And then after that, I feel like we grew because people loved the product and they would organically go talk about it. And, you know, our customer base was like our biggest mouthpiece, you know? And so we were lucky because our product worked so well and because we had put in so much time and money and effort into making sure that the products were perfect.
That's funny you say that. I literally was suggesting Arrae to someone a week ago because she was like, I feel so sick. I feel so bloated. Like I ate so bad this weekend. And I was like, I know exactly what you need. I was like, you need to take the Arrae bloat. I was like, anytime I feel bloated, I take it. And then the next day I'm like, feeling good. I'm like, okay, this is it. I feel absolutely fantastic. It works so quickly and it's so effective. So word of mouth is true. And I don't think a lot of founders necessarily think that way of the product should come first. I think a lot of people maybe get into it for the wrong reasons.
Totally.
Or they think that some people go marketing first and they have incredible marketing, but at the end of the day, it's like terribly made clothes or terribly made jewelry or whatever it is. And it's like, I'm not going to be a loyal customer for life. You sucked me in.
Exactly.
And I bought the thing, but I will use Arrae. Whatever you come out with, I will use. I will trust. I will suggest to people. I say, don't take melatonin gummies. I'm like, you need these sleep. But I'm truly like biggest fan here. I just think they work, and I feel like as someone who's sent so many products and is at every brand event and all of that stuff, and I try everything, it's very easy to tell what's well made, what works, what doesn't, what's total garbage, what somebody bought on Alibaba and resold. It happens all the time. I'm like,
100%.
This piece is falling apart, and I've had it for days. You cannot tell me that this is a well manufactured, that care went into this. Your marketing's beautiful, the photo shoot is beautiful, but these clothes are really terrible quality, terrible for the environment, etc. So it's refreshing and important to hear from founders like yourself, where we actually wanted the product to work, and then it worked so well that everybody found out about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I want to keep our customers, and I want to keep you guys happy, you know? Like, it's really difficult to acquire new customers, and it's really expensive, and this is just from like a basic business perspective. It is so much more, like, it's so much smarter to make sure that once you acquire the customers, they don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And you do that when you have a strong product. Like, it doesn't matter how good your marketing is. If someone tries something and they don't like it, they're never going to come back.
Is there something in your wellness routine right now that you're loving? Is there something that, as the wellness girly that you are, you're suggesting to all of your friends?
Yes. Okay. So I would say one of the things that has made the biggest impact is basically, I have really strong boundaries around my phone. So at 10 p.m., no more, I don't open social media, like, because I sleep by 11, like 10:30, 11, and I need that time to wind down. And at that time, I read a book, like on my Kindle. And I have found that having that, it's almost like, you know, when you're a kid, you have a bedtime. I feel like adults don't have that.
Yes.
And then you're just, on your phone, or you're busy doing something, and there's no set bedtime. So my bedtime, like my strict bedtime, is 11, 10:30 preferably, but 11, like I will not sleep later than 11. And that's just my bedtime on weeknights. And same thing in the morning.
What time do you wake up in the morning?
6:45, I would say right now. Since it started to get darker, 6:45, maybe 6:50 sometimes.
Okay, you're not one of those 4 a.m.ers.
No.
Okay.
Listen, it's okay. So I used to be like 5 a.m. hardcore. But what I realized is that over the weekend, it would impact my social life. So essentially what would happen was, either I would need to forego all my weekend plans in order to like sustainably wake up at 5 a.m. forever, or I would have severe social jet lag, because essentially, I would go out at night, or like, just have like a regular night out, like maybe come home and sleep by midnight. I obviously couldn't wake up at 5. It would be closer to like 8 or 9. And then my week was shot because I'd be so tired. And so the reason I like landed on between 6:30 to like 6:50, let's say, consistently, is because it doesn't matter what time I sleep on the weekend as well, I can still maintain this wake up time. So I find that it's the most sustainable way for me to kind of do all my wellnessy things, but also have a life outside of that, because I really do believe that balance is a huge part of kind of having a wholesome, like, good life. It's also a part of wellness. So yeah, not a 5 a.m. or a 4 a.m.er.
Wellness is balance. I know 4 a.m.ers and they like get up, work, and I'm like, it's just not me.
But what do you do on the weekend is what I want to know. Like, do you just never have plans? Like, maybe in the future, when I'm older and have kids or something. But right now, girl, I'm living.
I think they function on less sleep than they're supposed to.
But that's even worse.
Yes, I think the sleep deprivation, I've read all about the like morning routines of founders and morning routines of successful people and everything. And I'm like, I just think you're getting way less sleep than you need. And in 10 years, you have aged yourself.
Totally.
By 20 years because you're sleep deprived. I just think they're very sleep deprived. I think that's the key to the genius is sleep deprivation.
That's like, I don't know what genius there is in sleep deprivation, truthfully. And honestly speaking, I like, as someone who is very into wellness, sleep is like the most basic building block. Like, if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not functioning at your peak. Your metabolism slows down. You have no control when it comes to cravings. Like, the impact, like, you age, it's not the vibe.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I do think that I think a lot of people are suffering from lack of sleep.
It's a problem.
In the wellness community. I just think and outside of it, I think everyone is. So that's a very good tip. Make sure you get rest. You're right. It ages you. That's why I tell people, I'm like, you're not going to look so good. Your skin is not, you're not regenerating.
Totally.
You're not processing everything in your body that you need to be processing. And bloating, like your body's not having time to absorb nutrients.
No,
because
it's
you're never sleeping.
Yeah, it's really, it's no good.
No good. Okay, so moving into Arrae and the overall wellness theme, what is next? How do you see yourself expanding in the wellness space? Is there anything you can tell us about things that you have upcoming, or even just goals that you see? I would love to have a wellness center, or I would love to get into this product division. Is there something how do you want to grow the business?
So I would say, like, overarchingly, our goal is really to be the best wellness company there is, and every decision that we make is rooted in that philosophy. So we just launched our Tribiotic, which is a really, really high quality probiotic, which we worked for a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. Actually, it's been in the works for so long. And so I think everything that you see from us will kind of be rooted in that philosophy, which is like, how can we be the best? How can we ensure that we are delivering the highest quality product? How can we be known as like the ultimate brand when someone thinks of like quality and efficacy? So I would say, like, that's kind of where the brand continues to go.
Do you have any major goals that you could see 10 years from now for the business that is just like your absolute dream for it? Or do you feel like it's reached the dream of what you saw for it?
I mean, look, I don't think, as a founder, I don't think you've ever really reached your dreams. I think that that's the key to being a strong founder, is that, you know, you always push yourself and you always have bigger and bigger dreams. But like, in terms of like what like my 10-year goal or 10-year plan would be, I think it would be really cool for us to be like an LVMH of wellness and like acquire other companies. Again, this is a dream.
No, we like to speak into existence.
Exactly.
On this podcast.
Yeah.
I always have the girls speak into existence. So I'm like, what is it that you want to do? Is it a Tiffany brand collab with your jewelry line? Like, what is it? And so we speak into existence.
Yeah.
So we'll speak that into existence.
Yeah.
An LVMH of wellness. I actually love that idea. I do think having one person that's kind of overlooking, the same way with LVMH, they overlook the quality. They make sure everything you're getting is the highest quality. You can make sure everyone's getting supplements and items and products and whatever it may be that is of good quality. I love that idea. I think that's a fabulous idea. I look forward to seeing that happen. We've spoken it into existence. And so Arrae is an attractive supplement. It's cute. It's pretty. The packaging is beautiful.
It's very chic.
It's chic. It is. It's chic supplements. It's not, you can look in your cabinet and go, okay, that's interesting, whereas everything else has a very different look.
Sterile.
Very sterile, very almost chemically looking.
Agree.
Even like protein powders. I'm always like, why is it so unattractive?
I know. I'm
so
like,
ugly.
No.
You open my cabinet and it's like the cute, pretty things and just like nasty, and I'm like, this just doesn't look healthy, just everything about this.
Yeah.
But I do think, you know, there's greenwashing and all that to get into, but in terms of marketing and design and being a chic wellness product, what do you think some of your successes in marketing have been, and how has that played into your business? Are there it girls that have played a big role in your business that you've seen do a lot for you? What is the marketing strategy there?
So first and foremost, our whole thing was the products that when we first created the brand, my whole thing was that I really wanted the supplements to look Instagrammable. And if you think about skincare as a parallel, I remember back when I was like little and I would look into my mom's skincare lineup, it was very sterile looking. Mm-hmm. And if you see how the industry has evolved in the last like 15, 20 years, you go into Sephora and you are so damn excited to buy up all the skincare things because you're excited to use all of it. And I feel like there really is something to be said when it comes to aesthetics and how we build things into our routine accordingly. If something looks really beautiful, you remember to use it, you're excited to use it, you want to display it, and so it's top of mind. And that was really like the thought process behind our packaging. Now, when it comes to overarching marketing, I would say there's two things. Number one is we, right from the beginning, always said we wanted to treat our customer like influencers. And the reason is because I really do think customers are influencers. You know, if you think about your purchase decisions, right? yes, like you'll buy something if your favorite influencer posts about it, but also if your best friend calls you and she's like, Bailey, have you heard about this mascara? You will be going to Sephora and buying that damn mascara,
100%.
you know? So, and that's your consumer. So for us, everything that we did and everything that we continue to do is really putting the customer at the center of it all. For, you know, even now, like when we send packages out to influencers, they're getting the same package as our customers get. We want to make sure that the unboxing experience is as exciting for our customer as it would be for an influencer. So I would say that's number one. We involve our community at the center of our events. We always have community events. They're like invited into my home, literally. And then from an influencer standpoint, you know, we were really lucky early days. Like you're talking about it girls who've talked about us. I would say like the ones that come to mind right off the top of my head is Melissa Wood. I will never forget, she was the first big influencer to post about us, and that like changed the trajectory of our business.
Natural.
Yeah, so we'd gifted her, and one day I remember it was like COVID had just started, and someone from one of my followers sent me a screenshot of Melissa on live with someone else talking about Arrae, and we were just getting all of these sales, and I was like, where's it coming from? And then this follower sent it to me, and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. And then after that, it was Lauren Bostic, who's a good friend of mine now, Mariana Hewitt, Hailey Bieber, like all of these girls, I owe them so much because they talked about us organically. And then of course, like I was so excited. I remember when I started to get these sales, I was like, can I pay you for a partnership? Because I feel like I owe that to you. So that's kind of how a lot of our partnerships happen, whereby initially it's like an influencer talks about us organically and they're really excited about the product, and it just feels right to have like a partnership going. So I think that there has to be a return on investment for sure. And I think the influencer marketing landscape has definitely changed, whereby I think at one point it was just, you know, money being spent and whether you got a return or not. And I do believe that that's one kind of influencer marketing where it's almost like a billboard effect. You don't necessarily get a return, but it's kind of like brand awareness.
Yeah.
But then the other, which is what we opt for, is we expect a return because we're a profitable business. And so we just don't have marketing dollars to burn and never see the light of day. So yeah, I think that the industry is alive and well, and I think it'll just continue to iterate based on kind of the landscape.
I love seeing more and more brands do what you said, which is treat customers like influencers. I'm like, make influencer trips for your best customers.
I agree.
Like, why are you not taking customers on these trips? There's so many. We really believe in influencers, and I think that it girls especially get a lot of hate, and they get, oh, they're like, this is silly, she shouldn't be doing this, and they don't get seen as the businesswomen that they are, and they don't get taken seriously because the influencer market is so saturated by women that I think there's a lot of just negativity around it because it's women thriving and enjoying something. So I always want to support the influencer industry and support those women, but at the same time, I do think a lot of brands, I'm like, that girl has never used that in her life.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that she is a fan of your business? I've never seen her talk about it. I've never seen her show an interest in that. This is a free brand trip for her.
Exactly. And I think that that's where the switch is happening, whereby I think consumers are so discerning. And honestly, I think it's insulting for brands to spend money on influencers who they think will influence the customer when that influencer has never used the product.
Yeah.
I think it's really dumb. It's a bad use of marketing dollars. And I think it's a slap in the face to the consumer as well, because they're the ones who are spending the money, and yet it's people who've never used the product who are being, you know, rewarded.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit weird. So for us, I like to spend as much money as we're spending on influencer things into community things as well. So anytime we do a launch, we typically have a consumer event or activation that goes with it. Like, for example, what was it, 3 weeks ago, we had an event with my friend Bryony. She owns Pilates by Bryony, and she did a class for our community in my backyard.
Wonderful.
And it was like really cute. We had like little matchas for everyone, and it was just a really nice event. And I think that brands can do that, and they should be doing that. They need to be activating their consumers as well. Like, it just makes them feel seen and heard, and that's how they should feel.
100%. And at the end of the day, they are, like, there's people to be in campaigns and things like that, and there's people that just deserve a little thank you.
100%.
And a we see you, like you said. I do think that brands need to become so much more aware of that, because I think some of these brand trips and events are just so out of touch, where I'm like, this could be for your community. This could be for the people who honestly buy your products. Having this girl that we know is the face of it. I mean, it goes back further than that, when they, I'm sure there's plenty of celebrities as the face. And I'm like, that's not the shampoo that you use, girl. Like, Selma Hayek is not using her Garnier Fructis, but okay. So it does go back further than that, but I completely agree. And I think that's so smart as a business to recognize the people. I think more community events would mean so much to so many people.
I agree.
Encourage brands to do that. I'm like, take a moment and appreciate the community that has supported you, not just the people that you've paid to support you, but the people who from day one believed in you. And on that note, what are some things that you have learned that you wish you would have known? If someone listening to this is a woman starting her own business, are there things that you're like, I could have learned that lesson and I wish I would have skipped this? And looking back, what I know now, this is something just to avoid altogether.
Okay, so number one, I would go back to it, like, I think influencer marketing. Okay, if you want to be a profitable business, influencer marketing needs to have a return. It just does. Okay. I think if you're a brand who has a little bit more budget to spare and you're kind of wanting to do more like billboard type influencer campaigns, that's one thing. But if you are of the belief that influencers don't bring in money, you're wrong. Like, you've just not partnered with the right influencers. So I would say that's number one. So like, fight hard to find the influencers who can actually like get you a return and whose audience is actually engaged and, wants to buy whatever it is that they're talking about. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing. Second biggest thing is really understand how to manage your company finances. There's a lot of ways that you can make your dollar go further. For inventory stuff, for example, there's like lots of companies that will give you a line of credit to fund your inventory. You can get loans. So there's a lot that you can do in order to operate your business without raising money if that's something that you don't want to do, because equity is the most expensive thing that you can give up. So I would say those are probably two of the biggest lessons that I wish I had known earlier on. And by the way, don't get me wrong, like, we've raised money. I love our investors. They're incredible. But I wish I'd known these things, because I think, I don't know, like, maybe we could have given up less equity, So and I think that these are things that first-time founders just don't know. And it's part and parcel of what you do. Like, you learn things as you go. But these are two things that I hope that if someone listens to this and they're a first-time founder, that they can actually look into.
That's such good advice. Hold on, I want to check the time to make sure I'm respecting your time. Okay, we've got 7 minutes. Okay, fabulous. Okay. We can get into our it girls. We're going to go into our ultimate it girls. Okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit more about it girls. We ask everybody, who is their ultimate it girl? And because you're such a fabulous business owner, I also want to give you a moment to kind of touch on those girls that you mentioned and say, like, these are girls that really transformed my business, because I think that's amazing that women have the power to do that. And they do, regardless of what people may say on the internet, women do have the power to sell product and transform businesses. And then personally, for you, who are some it girls that inspired you to start your business?
Ooh, these are all such good questions. Okay, so I would say all of my friends are it girls, to be honest, because I feel
also hang out with some very cool people.
I'm very lucky.
I think everybody would say that, but you particularly hang out with some pretty cool ladies.
Thank you. Yeah, I think my friends are definitely all it girls, because for me, the definition of an it girl is just someone who is confident, who kind of isn't afraid to dance to the beat of their own drum. Like, they have their shit together. And thankfully, the women that I hang out with, I think that they have that going for them. And I think that they're also like such positive people. And I mean, both my friends and like my team, the girls on my team who I also consider my friends, I think all of these girls are definitely it girls. They're like such go-getters. And I think that's my definition of an it girl. So I would say I would say my friends.
Is your team majority women?
Yeah. It's 23 people now, and we have 3 guys.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So we say the ratio has to be like every 6 girls, 1 guy. That's the only way we'll hire. I'm joking, but it just happens to be that way. It's like our team is for the girls. Like, we love it. Like, I love the company that I've created. Like, I'm very lucky. I love every person on our team. They're incredible.
And how have you fostered an environment of a female business and a positive female business and a positive female community? What do you think some of your tips would be for hiring a lot of women in a space and making them feel safe and comfortable and happy?
I think how your team operates comes from the top down. And, Nish and I are really straightforward people. We are very much drama free. Like I just don't have, those like memes where like you sit around and you chat shit. I don't have shit to chat about.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't have anything going in my life that I need to like complain about. If there was something I needed to complain about, I'd change it. And so I think because Nish and I operate that way, those are the type of people that we attract. Also, I think the environment that we've built at Arrae is that, everyone has each other's backs. And like we literally just got back from our team retreat, and I'm actually telling you what we told our team, that like the two things that make our team what it is number one, we have each other's backs, and number two, we value candor, knowing that we have each other's backs. So everyone speaks really openly, everyone gives their opinion. Everyone's a really like strong critical thinker. And Nish and I, even just the two of us, we are not afraid to debate in front of our team. And the reason we do that is because we want people to know that it's okay to challenge ideas. And if you have each other's backs and you're kind, then it doesn't matter what you say. It's not personal. You're speaking honestly to get to the best possible solution or decision, And I think that that's what makes the team as strong as they are. Of course, everyone's really smart and everyone's really driven, which of course I would say is the building blocks. But I think if you create an environment where it's open and honest and you value kindness and hard work, it just kind of falls into place. And so, I'm really lucky. Like, I can't say it enough because everyone on my team is best friends. Like, how often do you see that happen?
Rare, very rare.
Like, I barely ever see it. And there's no drama. There's no politics internally. And my God, I will make sure that never happens, because it's just, and I think honestly speaking, if there was someone like that who came into our team and we mishired, I would be quick to fire them. It's just not worth it. Like, you need to be so protective of the environment that people work in.
100%. And this is your last question, is there a dream it girl that you would want to get Arrae in the hands of? If you could wave a magic wand and get this it girl.
So Hailey Bieber talked about us like long ago, and she's an investor in the brand. So I would say she's a very big it girl. I'm trying to think who is
We've had a few people who have been on that have said that Hailey has completely transformed their business. Like, she really is an intelligent businesswoman.
Yeah.
And she aligns herself with companies that she believes in. We've had 3 people, I think, say she wore this, she tagged this, she ordered this.
Yeah.
And our business skyrocketed.
Yeah, she's incredible. I think like there's also something to be said about celebrities and influencers who are just like giving and they're just like rooting for businesses and know the impact that they can make by just like a single tag or a single mention. Like, I think it speaks like volumes about someone's character. So I will always be grateful to her. I'm trying to think of which it girl I would give our product to right now.
Like, if she walked by on the street, you'd be like, oh my gosh, you have to try.
Maybe, hold on, I'm like literally racking my brains right now. Okay, maybe Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yes, they are not active on social, but they are powerful, and I think that they are very influential in their own right. I think The Row is incredible. It's one of my favorite brands.
They would love Arrae.
I think so too.
I just know it.
I do too.
Know it. I know it. Okay, we spoke that into existence. We're going to see the Olsen twins walking down the street with their Arrae. They're going to love it.
If I saw that in the wild, I think I would like die. It would be insane.
Cut to, we'll do this video and then we'll show flash. Ashley Olsen walking down the street, taking her Arrae bloat pills.
Walking right into the Row store.
Yes, walking right into the Row with her Arrae. Or maybe with you. Maybe you guys are together.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Honestly, it's plausible. Because I do think they would like Arrae. I think they like things that are chic, that work, and do what they're supposed to do.
Exactly.
And that's what Arrae is. It's chic. It's cool and it works.
100%.
Amazing. Siff, it was such an honor to have you. I'm truly, like I said 19 times, the biggest fan of the business. I believe in your business. I believe in your product. I really do think it is the best thing on the market. Not just to be the best bloat supplement on the market, but also the best sleep. I
Thank
love
you.
I believe it's ashwagandha, right?
No, it's calm, but
Calm
there's
does not have ashwagandha.
no, but it has a lot of calming ingredients. So
That's actually good to know because I've been hearing a lot of conflict about ashwagandha. So that's interesting to me that I like yours so much more than the other one, which has ashwagandha. So there you go. There's your conflict on ashwagandha. But thank you so much. Do you want to shout out your socials and Arrae socials real quick?
Yes. So you can find me at Siff Haider across all platforms, and Arrae is at arrae.co on social and arrae.com to shop us.
Amazing. And I am at Bailey T. Taylor at It Girl the Series. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time with another fabulous It Girl.